Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So first I just want to point out, after my first video I noticed some things I didn't like, but I'm not going to remove it. I'm just going to keep going and learn through the process and see how things go. But anyway, that being said, I did say I was going to do some video games and I've just finished one, so that's what this video is about. Star Wars Outlaws. So I'm moving on to now my thoughts of Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws is the first ever open world Star Wars game, set between the events of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. You explore distant planets across the galaxy, both iconic and new, as you risk it all as Kay Vest, an emerging scoundrel seeking freedom and the means to start a new life, along with her partner in crime, Nix. Fight still and outwit your way through the galaxy, crime syndicates, as you join the galaxy's most wanted. If you're willing to take the risk, the galaxy is full of opportunity. Before going into much depth, did I enjoy it? Like the games overall, I say yes. I think there's parts that let me down, but I enjoyed the game. And that is my view pretty much. I enjoyed the game, but I'll go a bit more in depth now in certain parts. What I think could have done better and what I enjoyed. So I'm going to start with first is overall gameplay. We're going to start in that subgenre. I'm going to go with the gunfight, the fighting. It's a big thing in Star Wars. Um, it was okay. He did the job. I had some gripes. Firstly, I think more enemy types. It just didn't seem enough. It seemed very basic. Once you got the hang of it, of what type it was so easy. So throwing more enemy types around the map as well, that'd be really good. One thing I did notice on any gunfight is if you pick up a gun, like Kay has in this photo here, a Stormtrooper gun, for example, if it runs out of ammo, she does an animation going, oh, and gets frustrated, and it takes an age for her to put it down. You could be in the open like this, you only need to shoot one shot and the Stormtrooper's gone. And it's taking forever. And I've died a lot of many times with that. It's really, really frustrating. Another thing on the gameplay, stealth, it's a big Ubisoft thing. It was okay. At the start, I did feel like the first few missions were pretty tricky. I didn't like the open world. It was so much of going around and finding a ways into the base where I like a little hint. Come on, there was nothing of that. It was just work it out. And sometimes you'll put yourself right out of the way. I felt like it was a way to them to drag out the game. Well, I'll go in a little bit more depth as well. Also, another little gripe on the gameplay is when you use the health perk or whatever it is, I can't remember. Again, it's another animation where you click it and it takes 10 hours. Sometimes it feels of her to heal, and it's really, really annoying. But also, my final gripe I will probably say on the gameplay is I had experienced a couple of crashes. There were a few crashes, like my character sinking through the map, or just the whole game crashing itself. But overall, it works. It's a Ubisoft game. It's enjoyable. So that's one positivity there. I'm just going to move on now and talk a little bit about the world. So, as I said, this is Star Wars' first ever open world game. And what did I think of it? Well, firstly, there are different worlds with different environments, and I did like that there were different environments. They're not very similar. Um, but what I do wish there was more, and I guess a game expecting you want more is a good thing in a way, but it's Star Wars. You only get 4 to 3 worlds, and one of them is a little city world that you can run around, and then through one's like a medium one, and two are kind of bigger. And also, one world you get at the start and you go no back to. What's that about? I feel like it. I understand why you didn't go back there during the main story, but after you completed it, I feel like you could have that world unlocked and go around it. Especially that that world was. Spoilers here, Canto Bite. And if you've watched Star Wars, you know that world was explored, and I like to understand it a little bit more because it was a thing that happened in Episode 8, and it would be nice to know a little bit more about the world from a different perspective for someone who, in the Cave S, for example, lived there. So that's really much the world of things. I want more. I did like though, as you can see, the space travel is definitely in there, and they do have space activities, and each world has a different space environment above it. So you can. It's a little bit different in each one, but some of them has some similarities in them, and I did like that. But talking about space, I think this is a good opportunity to start talking about the vehicle play and how the vehicles work in this game. I do have some gripes again with it. It's quite a lot of negativity, and I do try on this channel trying to get positivity, and I would like to 100% admit I enjoyed the game and aspects of it. It's just some things were, and I did join a game, and I'm still playing the game. I'm still doing the side missions. There's not a lot of games I do side missions for. But anyway, I'm moving off track here. Vehicles. You have two in the game. You have a speeder and you have a ship. I'll talk about the speeder first. Very clunky. I'll use an example when you use your speeder and you call it from your watch gadget thing. God, that's clunky. It does not work. Also, riding around it in the open world, just why couldn't they not give you? Because there's a lot of paths, a little direction thing. It's Star Wars, so you can have like a head-up display or something that tells you the directions a little bit. Really annoying, because as I'll go in a bit, the different territories and you want to avoid them, it would be nice to know what way the best way is and stuff like that. Speed, I wasn't a big fan of it. It could have been smoother, moving it around. Even when I've upgraded it and unlocked some stuff, it was really, really annoying. The ship, though, standard space travel ship stuff, it was okay. It wouldn't blow me away, but it was good. Solid, I thought. Shooting and stuff like that. The gun did annoy me, all the gun options, because they had the cooldown period was so long and then it gets to overheating so quickly, and it was really, really, really frustrating. But other than that, the ship was good, and I like the upgrades on the ship as well, I guess. But the guns were a bit poo. So I'm going to go in a little bit more, talk about an element of the game what I've really enjoyed, and that is the faction system. So, what is the faction system? The faction system is very simple. There's four in the game. I'm not going to list them. Might be some spoilers, but it's pretty simple. Four in the game, and during main missions or side missions, you have a choice. You can give what you've gained to one faction or the other. You might have already agreed to give it to this faction, and you can betray them and give it to another faction. And you've got a rep scale. So sliding scales are like very bad, they're hunting you, to excellent, they like you. And they've got certain areas in the map where this faction system control, and if you're going in there and they don't like you, they hunt you, they don't want you in that area. But if you're good an accident, you can walk in that area. You can also steal items in that area from the faction system that will get rid of your rep as well. But it's very good. It's a very cool thing. The reason why I liked it is because it's something where it made me choice. Everything I chose to do, it was down to me and what affected in the game. I do feel like that there was a certain faction after you've done their world, that was it. Don't need to worry about them anymore, and you'll never deal with them again. But I did feel like their area was the city area, was quite small, so it's not a big deal. Um, you do lean towards one faction or other in each world as well. Um, it's a shame. I think there should have been a part of each world. I also feel like that there should be another kind of genre as well, where you've got the Imperial and you've got the Rebels, and you can choose to do jobs between them as well. You can work for the Rebellion or you can work for the Imperials, and then that. But I guess you are anti-imperial as a character, as you learn throughout the story why that is. But I do feel like that having the rebellion aspect would be nice to have a little bit more rebellion work and tie in a little bit of what happened. You can help the rebellion out with the war and make it Star Wars. That's my thoughts on the faction system. I just really think it was a cool idea and I enjoyed that part a lot. And it made the side missions more involved like the main story because it helped with your rep. If you do a job for Crimson Dawn, it will help your rep and it can help you out with the main story. If you had a terrible Crimson Dawn, you might struggle a little bit more. And it was a way to help out if you need, and it made everything tying. And a lot of games struggle with that with the side missions, I find, where why do I need to do a side mission? It doesn't affect the main story. I'll just play the side main story. Where the side missions does affect it because it helps your rep. And because it helps your rep, it will help you in the main story for the main missions. Talking about main story, the storyline. Now, the storyline, as I said, I think you could be cool if you helped the rebellion a little bit more, or you chose a side, Empire or Rebellion at some point, a little bit, choosing a little bit more, because you can choose factions. I think that would be really cool. I do feel like, though, the main storyline was quite short. Um, in quick, me explaining it, you're a heist, you're doing a heist, get a crew, and then you do the heist. Pretty much simple as that. But the issue I had was there was a character that was hinted throughout the game, and that character showed up, and you basically do one mission with them, and you're like, oh, that it? And you expect their relationship to be better to normal, but you don't. I don't have any connection with that character because it didn't build. I'll use the example of, and it's not really a spoiler. Um, you need an Imperial shuttle for one of the missions. You need an Imperial shuttle to get to a base. Why are we not using that as a mission? We have to go and collect and steal an Imperial shuttle because that was perfect. And you don't need to reuse or build a new map. You can just reuse them because there's Imperial shuttles everywhere. Literally, there will be signed missions where pirates have stolen Imperial goods, and they'll come in on Imperial shuttles, and it lands. It can be really simple if you need to steal an Imperial shuttle. I guess they didn't want us to fly it. You don't need to fly it. You can have the crew, someone in the crew be the person who flies it. But I just really, really, really thought it was short. And there was other aspects that the story could have dragged out, and it could drag it out a little bit more, make this you feel like you're getting your money's worth because more hours and stuff like that. And also, it will make you feel more impact on certain characters because you might have some more time with their missions and stuff like that. I just felt the missions were a bit quick, but overall, I just think it could be cool if it was more of a overall Star Wars impact. So you work for the rebellion to gather information or something. There was none of that. It was a shame, but I guess they wanted more work on the criminal syndicates and stuff like that. Well, it was good overall. I just wanted more, and that's I think the key of my thoughts of this game. That being said, I'm going to do something a little bit different now. I'm going to ask myself 4 questions, and they're going to be a consistent questions of everything I talk about. So, first one is, did I have fun? And that's the main thing. Did I have fun? And the answer is yes. Will I go back for it for a while? Probably not. I probably won't go back to it. Will I be interested if there's a second one? Yes, because the point I've made across here, I have quite clear, I think, is I wanted more. And the last question is, if I can put it into 3 words, what would I be? Fun, cool, quick. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory. I also like to add here little elements I did like. I did like the little side games you can do. Um, you can bet on some stuff. It's kind of fun that, and that again, you can build your money. I did find the currency a little bit worthless. You just get so much doing the side jobs, but overall, I enjoyed the game, I enjoyed the side missions, and that was one aspect I will give them a bonus for. A lot of games I find I don't play the side missions because they're quite boring, and this one I found them really interesting and tidy. So that's pretty much my thoughts on Star Wars Outlaws. I'd like to now thank you for watching, and I would love you if you could give me any feedback in the comments below. That'd be amazing. Um, as I said, I want this to be a community, so feel free to comment below. Tell me, oh, I should check out this, or what did I do wrong, and probably make my gripes better and stuff like that. Just tell me how it is. Also, if you want to see more of me just giving my opinions on things, movies, video games in this case, give it a subscribe, man. I'm just gonna do everything I enjoyed and just giving my thoughts, more of a positive theme, not a critic mindset as a real consumer. That's what I want as a real consumer, because I think there's a lot of people thinking they're the top critics in the world when you want real consumer. But anyway, that's it. That's Moonhead signing out. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.